Let's talk about the energy themes for the month of October 2024. Well, big theme, as you may know or as you may have felt, is the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse is bringing this final purge, and I put final in between quotes because nothing is final, nothing is finite. This evolution, this journey is infinite, is limitless, is endless. There's a final purge for this cycle because if you were here in our last channeling session, and or if you watched my latest channeling video on my YouTube, you might have heard the Pleiadians talking about the sense of completion that this month is bringing, that the solar eclipse is bringing. So there's a sense of some karmic cycles being complete, being ended, especially on an emotional level. So there are a lot of maybe past wounds, past traumas, past karma. Karma is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just a lesson that you need to learn. But a lot of things have been completed. Okay. And maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't, because there are a lot of things that happen on a subtle energy in the subtler realms that we can't always rationalize, and that is okay. As long as you feel like something has been completed, you're ready for the next cycle. And so I feel like the solar eclipse is bringing that final purge. Hence, I feel like I had this virus for just to really have that reset in my system. And if it does feel like it was just, hey, this is the last bit of things that you have to let go, because I've been personally doing a lot of releasing, a lot of letting go, and I've been feeling a lot of closure inside of me, and I felt like that was just like, hey, reset button, let's clear it out. So a little prompt for you on that theme is, what have I not allowed myself to release maybe over the past 6 months, a year? The things that perhaps you know and your soul knows that, yeah, this thing is not serving me anymore. This relationship is not serving me anymore, but I'm still not allowing myself to release. Or you can also just reflect, what have I released? What have I let go? Does it feel complete? And if it doesn't yet, that's okay too. Remember that there are cycles and cycles and cycles, but just dig a little deeper and just make sure that you're feeling that completion. Don't force it, but when you dig a little deeper, whether it's through meditation or breath work, what we're going to do today, you can just again release the remaining debris or the remaining things that you need to let go. And as you may or may not know, there have been massive solar flares over the last week, especially. So, and this was a theme that was talked about in a couple months ago as well. I mean, it's a constant theme because we have been receiving a lot of solar flares, and they've been more and more massive. They've been more and more impactful. And basically, when we receive them, what it also means is that our capacity to receive light, to receive information, has expanded and has been expanding. So, because we are always so connected to the sun, we are light, we are the sun too. We have that energy of the light within us. We are always affected, we are always connected to the sun and always impacted by its activities on a cellular level, because in our essence, we are light as well. So when we're receiving that much amount of light, something gets activated in our essence of light as well. So that means we are expanding our container to receive more of that light, more of that information, even though it seems like that information is coming from the sun towards us and we were receiving it. It's actually activating within us already. And your capacity to integrate more light has also been increased. Okay. So this is what's happening. We receive light, we receive information. And so our capacity to integrate has also increased. And this is a message that I got in a dream from the Pleiades. By the way, most of these topics this week, this month, I've received in dreams, because I've been dreaming so much more than usual. Funnily enough, especially when I was more, sick. I was sleeping a little more, but I was having very, very deep dreams, and this was one of them. And a lot of these things, I just had to wake up and write it on my phone so that I wouldn't forget. But this message I heard really clearly, and it said, "Your consciousness has leveled up." Boom. It's simple like that. But when I received it, I felt like it wasn't necessarily my consciousness, Will's consciousness. It was the collective that we're referring to us, to all of us who are committed to that expansion. Your consciousness has leveled up. Okay. This is it, right? We have been going through cycles and cycles. This is another one. So we have leveled up, right? It's like a video game. Like we've battled the boss and now we're in a different level, right? So a little prompt for you is, what shifts have I noticed in myself? And then you can think about them physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And if it helps, you could make a list of those shifts. And I encourage you for you to think about the maybe the most obvious ones, but also go deeper, reflect on the subtler ones too, because sometimes we don't notice the subtle ones, but they are as important as the obvious ones. Actually, within the subtle shifts, we can actually feel the big shift in the long run, if that makes sense. The next theme is that you might also be facing some kind of mess to find balance and center, because balance is a big thing this month. Obviously, we have Libra, which represents balance, but I always like to think of balance as your center. So when I say balance, I mean the center, right? Your heart center. But sometimes for you to find your heart center, you face a little bit of chaos, you face a little bit of mess to organize yourself. So maybe you're being somehow shaken up. Something has happened. It might not necessarily be right now this week, but maybe over the last few months. And so that you're facing that chaos, that mess, that maybe shadow aspect to find more balance, to find more center. And it's a type of reset. Like I mentioned earlier, I had this virus, and for me, I don't necessarily see it as a negative thing, even though, yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's unpleasant, maybe painful at times, but I also feel like we're inhabiting with lots of micro beings, and viruses is just part of the second dimension of Mother Earth. This is just part of this dimension as well. And sometimes it happens because we just need that type of reset. We need that type of clearing. We need that type of pause, and the system needs to be reset. So for me, that's what it feels. It feels like it's a type of reset that can look like different for you. So I encourage you to maybe reflect on what kind of reset have you been going through. And also, the prompt is, what are some of the tools that you have that can help you to feel more grounded, to feel more embodied, to find your center? And make sure you do this every day. It doesn't have to be a long session. It doesn't have to be a long breath work or meditation session, but what is it that helps you to ground? Maybe it's a walk in the park. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's sounding. So do that every day, even if it's just for a little bit, for 5 minutes or short periods of practices during the day that you can just incorporate in your everyday life that you don't have to necessarily go out of your way to do, but it's really important. And the next theme is the soul's reunion. So reconnections or maybe new connections. And that's really exciting, especially for us Starseeds and Lightworkers, because sometimes we feel like we're kind of alone in this world, and it's hard to find people that kind of resonate with your frequency or with your values, with your beliefs. So this is happening more and more. So you might be finding your tribe. You might be reconnecting with old friends who are now resonating at a similar frequency as yours, or they just need to be around you to talk to you, to help them in their awakening journey, or vice versa. What I mean by that is you might reconnect with the friend that might be going through an awakening, and they just feel attracted to your presence and your frequency. They might not know that consciously, but they just need to be around you because your presence, your light, your frequency will help them in their journey. And it can also be the other way around too. Maybe you are feeling connected to certain people that might be in a different moment in their journeys. There's no better or worse, just a different spot, just a different moment. But you might be feeling like, I want to be close to this person or want to follow this person just because I feel a resonance in their energy. So that might be happening, okay? Or both. You might be finding your tribe and might be reconnecting with old friends and they're becoming your tribe. You might be building your tribe. So community is a really big topic for the age of Aquarius in general. And so more and more it's so important for you to find your tribe. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here. And I hope that this is also a safe space for you to connect with other souls as well that are like-minded and like-spirited. And this is also happening on this on a spiritual and an on the astral and dream realm. You might be having dreams with people that you know or you don't know, but this can also be some kind of soul's reunion that's not necessarily manifested into the physical time and space in the 3D, but there's a lot happening in the astral realm for sure. And a prompt is just to stay open to new connections or reconnections, and just remember that you are at a different resonance and a level of consciousness, and so are others. Don't hold on to the outdated versions of you and others. We have been leveling up. You have leveled up. Your consciousness has leveled up. So what this means is that there are outdated versions of you that some people will resonate with those outdated versions of you, that those old versions of you. That's okay because that's where their level of consciousness is. And some others um, are leveling up too. And even those that might not still resonate with the new version of you, they're also in their journey of evolution. So hold compassion for everybody and just stay open. Just stay open with your heart for any connections. And talking about connections as well, there's been a shift in relationships too. That's a theme for this month. There's new energy, new dynamics, and new perspective, whether you are in a romantic relationship right now or not. There's just been a shift inside of you. There's a new energy. There's a new perspective on relationships, on love. There's a clearer knowing within you, and there is also clearer communication because you know yourself more, because you have leveled up, because you are more connected to your own frequency and to your heart. There's that clearer knowing, there's that clear communication, there's that clear setting boundaries in your relationships. That's why there is that new perspective. Maybe a new dynamic is being built in your relationships or in the future relationships that you will have too. So it's almost as if there's an opening to a new dimension when it comes to relationships. Again, that's going to look different to each and every one of you because we are different, unique beings in a different unique journey as well. But just in general, try to notice these shifts in your relationships, and those shifts are actually happening because the shifts are happening within you. So that's why I encourage you to go back and make that list of shifts that you feel that you noticed in you. And then when you look at those shifts, you can just reflect and go, gosh, I've changed, I've evolved, right? How much have I changed? And how have my relationships mirrored those changes and or have evolved along with you? Okay. And are there any changes that are necessary? Okay. You are being guided, and there is a clearer knowing. So just hold that awareness, okay, in the back of your mind. So these are the themes for the October 2024 solar eclipse, bringing that final purge, high influx of solar flares, facing a mess to find balance, i.e., center, souls reunions, reconnections, or new connections are being made, and there's been a shift in relationships because the shifts are happening within you. Let me know in the chat or in the box which one has resonated most with you. And as you do that too, that can be your intention for this practice.